Happy Saturday afternoon, everybody. I'm your host, Sean Campbell, and you're listening to the Marketing Corner. Thanks for joining us, as always, on your Saturday afternoon, and where we bring you the latest and greatest in local marketing, local small business, some tips, some advice, some do's and some don'ts, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So if you have any questions in the show, during the show, it's 520-790-2040, and we have a very first-time co-host today, straight back from Europe. I'm looking forward to hearing about that a little bit more.
Of course.
Yeah, Adelie Hunt. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well.
Yeah.
Awake, alive.
Awake, on time.
It was on time, right?
You were. I mean, kind of. At least you showed up. I'm not saying anything about last week's co-host. I was supposed to be here, but at least you showed up, Adelie.
You dropping names or not?
I'm no. It might rhyme with no.
We'll leave it at that.
We will leave it at that. So you came back, and was this your first time in Europe?
First time in Germany. I've been to Italy before.
Yeah. And what was it? Kind of business, pleasure?
I'm just visiting, touring around.
Yeah.
That's usually most of my trips whenever I'm outside of Arizona.
Yeah. Did you get a good time to reset? I mean, did you?
I did. It wasn't so much. Usually when I travel, I try and take advantage and start like all my touristy things.
Right.
I got to see all the sights and everything. But this one was a little more like, you know, go out, go check out some castles, come back.
Very cool.
Just relax a bit, try some new foods. It was nice. So it was a little bit of sightseeing and also a little more of a reset too.
Yeah. When you watch this on YouTube, she got me this Deutschland, Germany little stein. I'm going to put this to use tonight. I'm going to drink some little beers tonight. So thank you so much for that.
Little beers.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. So I before you left, I told you I had spent 4 years there all through high school. In Germany. So I'm super excited that you got a chance to see it and see the culture and the food. Was there any particular food that you liked more than?
Oh my gosh, the schnitzel.
Yeah.
I didn't know how much I was going to like it. So we tried it out in Heidelberg, and I guess it was
Heidelberg,
this place. They had great reviews for the schnitzel. And then I think he was the cook. He was just like, hey, yeah, I'll take your order. And I was like, great. And he's like, well, I recommend you do the schnitzel with, it was like the mushroom gravy. But he's like, but I'm going to add garlic to it. And I'm used to garlic. You know, my mom throws that in everything. We throw it in everything. And I was like, yes, please. And then brought it back. It was so flavorful. It was the best. Even the French fries taste way better over there.
Yeah. I half joke when I say this, but the next time I go back to Germany, I'm not coming back. That it's a one-way ticket. I'm going to find somewhere to stay. I could work from there.
Yeah.
You know, so the plan is to, kind of get to that point, and it'd be easy to. I'd have to get up.
I believe you'd stay out there.
Oh yeah, and get a big enough place. Whoever wants to come out, it's like there you go. Free board.
They're showing me some properties out in Italy, and it was like maybe 150,000. But it was a huge place. It was like a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, but it looked really nice. I was just like, oh my gosh, like properties out here are way more affordable.
So the people who don't know you, when you're talking about properties, let's talk about you as an entrepreneur. What do you do?
I'm in real estate. I help buyers and sellers with their properties. Any investors out there as well, try and help them out. But mainly my main goal is just home buyers and home sellers.
Why did you get into real estate? I mean, you are phenomenal at what you do. So it's not a question like, why did you do that? What was your purpose? What was your reason?
Honestly, it's always been in the back of my mind. When I was going to business school for my business administration, it was just something that was like, oh, real estate. Everyone always talks about it. And it's just like, how do you learn about it? How do you get into it? And then not until a couple years back, I was at a point in my career where it's just like, I need something a little more challenging, see what we can do. And so I was like, okay, real estate, right? Well, go ahead and check this out. If anything, I always have something to fall back on. I have experience in the corporate world.
Yeah.
And so first 2 years, I was able to join an awesome team that had great mentors there, and I was able to learn a lot through
I
that.
think one of your mentors was on the show a few months ago.
You did mention that.
Tyler?
Tyler,
Yeah.
yeah.
He was phenomenal.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
he's great. I have nothing bad to say about
Yeah,
that or
yeah,
anything. He provided so much mentorship throughout those 2 years that it was just like, all right, I'm kind of ready to try this on my own.
Right.
Which was just I learned so much from it, to be honest. And if anyone's starting in real estate, I'd recommend starting with a team at least. Because I know a lot of these people that do it on their own, I give them so much credit because it just takes so much, and you don't know which way to go. But with a team, it's like, you have that structure, you have that sense of reliability of the team. So it's just a lot of things. But
do you foresee yourself creating your own team sometime?
I thought about that, but I just have a couple other things in mind before I touch that area of things. Yeah.
So what is it about that, I mean, you mentioned a little bit of the accountability and being able to kind of maybe bounce ideas off each other, a little motivation, right? What else besides, those obvious things that, are you guys all kind of clones? Do you guys have separate strengths? I mean, when putting a team together like that, are you kind of strong in one area where somebody else is a little bit stronger in another? That makes sense.
I guess it depends, I guess, on how you want your team to run. The team that I was on, they had, your buyer's agents, and then you had Tyler managing mostly the seller side of things.
Yeah.
And so it was just, but it is, everyone always brings something different to the table, right? There's some that are more creative. There's some that are more extroverted that can do more of the networking aspect of things. So I'd say, you have to have a little bit of, everything in those teams.
Yeah. What do you think is your greatest strength? From somebody who's known you for a little while, there's a lot of obvious things. You seem very, very organized. You seem right on top of everything. Very ambitious, a go-getter. But what else, do behind the scenes, what is like your strength that you can count on every day?
That's a great question. I would have to say...
Yeah, don't be modest, just say, and say without cursing. That's what John is watching us for.
John, close your ears. No, I'd say one of the things that I'd say is probably the amount of care that I put into everything that I do. I don't do anything half, like I'll go full in.
Right.
So with everyone that I've worked with, it's not like they're just getting half of me, it's just all of me.
Yeah.
And I think it's the sense of reliability as well that I can bring to the table, and I'd say communication.
Do you worry about, Tucson has a few thousand realtors. Does that enter your mind at all, or you just don't worry about it?
Not really. The way I see it is just there's so many people here,
Right.
And I think if you're really wanting to get out there, it all comes down to effort, right? Because I can get my real estate license and maybe send out some mailers and expect something to bite back, but it's not until it's just like you're putting that effort, getting out there, hiring you to help with that stuff.
Yeah.
And I always think about it like, okay, I'm going into a restaurant, right? Who do I know in this restaurant? It's a bunch of different people and everything. I'm like, I don't know half of these people. So, I always feel like there's always, an opportunity out there.
Yeah. We got about a minute and a half left, Adley. So, next segment, I want to talk a little bit more about, your strategy is when you go out and network and meet people. I think you're very good at that. You're very kind of subtle and you're very approachable.
Thank you.
But, also want you to think next segment or later on in the show, kind of talk about some of the biggest obstacles you've had to overcome. We've all had entrepreneurs, I don't care who you are. None of it's easy, right?
Of course.
So, in this last minute, what do you do to kind of decompress? Because I know you got to go through some stress.
Oh yeah, no, it's just like time to myself, watching some show, and probably some pizza.
The old-fashioned way, you don't take it out on nobody and go to the boxing. And,
and sometimes just throwing on some chill music too, and just
Yeah.
just having that downtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you work every day?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, for the
Yeah,
most part.
yeah. I'm going to commend you on that because kind of the vogue thing to do is like you got to only do 20 hours a day and the rest of the time. I don't believe in that. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's just a
Yeah.
little bit of everything. Even in
Yeah.
Germany, I was working out there.
Yeah.
Got a
Yeah.
couple under contract while I was out there.
Nice.
So,
Paid for the trip and then
you
some.
know.
There you go. You are listening to the Marketing Corner. I am your host, Sean Campbell, with very special co-host today, Adelie Hunt. We are back in the Marketing Corner. I'm your host. I'm your host,
You're my
Sean
co-host
Campbell.
today.
I am Adelie Hunt's co-host today. Take it away, Adelie.
All right, guys.
Wow. So we were talking in between segments right here, and there's some of the best discussions during a show happens in between segments. There's a lot of things that me and whoever's in the studio talk about, but you wanted to bring up specifically some information that you wanted to share to particular like first-time home buyers.
Yeah,
and
first-time
some
home
of the
buyers.
opportunities that they may not know about. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had conversations where it's just like maybe people coming from Mexico or they're looking to purchase, and the whole process is different, and also new home buyers, right? You often think it's just like buying a home is the American dream, right? But it's not just that, right? It's a lot of money that's coming into it. You have your
Yeah.
down payment, your closing costs. You're getting into a 30-year mortgage. So what are the benefits, right?
Right.
And I would say that when it comes to it, obviously, number one, it's a roof over your head, something for your family to grow into. If you're in it within 5 to 10 years and you decide maybe it's time to downsize or upsize, within that time frame, your home already has equity built up into it. And it's money that you can use to purchase a different home. It's money that you can use to move out of the country,
Yeah.
like Sean
Hello.
over here. But it can be seen as more of an investment. One of the lenders that I work with, he mentioned, I had never thought of it this way, right? He provides this sheet where it shows you, all right, if you purchase a home for a certain amount within maybe 2-3 years, equity, it builds up. You won't see like a substantial amount, but say $20,000, right, within two to 3 years. It's like, would you have saved that amount within that time frame?
right.
Maybe you
Yeah.
can, maybe you can't, but
Right.
it's something that's like behind the scenes, kind of working itself,
Yeah.
and then building up towards the end of it.
Yeah. You recently didn't you get a special what's the word I'm looking for luxury homes?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I did get a certification
yeah,
for
certification,
that.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about
Yeah.
that, and being
That's
able to
very
help
cool.
more of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
affluent people
Yeah.
out there with
Yeah.
those homes. So it was interesting to take that course because
Oh.
it was a lot of little things that I never would have thought of. But it's just knowing a lot about the home, who's the home builder, who created that home. There's a bunch of different ones here in Tucson, so it's
Yeah.
just like knowing all those things, and I thought it was great, and I'm really excited to be able to implement all
Very
that
cool.
stuff. Yeah.
Very cool. Is there do you I would imagine you feel a very, great sense of fulfillment, in assisting somebody into whether it's their first home or their third or fourth or their second home or whatever it is.
Oh
right?
yeah, 100%. It's one of the best things ever. That's one of the reasons too that I enjoy real estate. It's just being able to educate and also being able to help them out. There's clients that have had that never would have thought of owning a home, but through the process and all their efforts, it's just like, wow, like they actually did it. And for them, it was just like, we did it,
Right, right, yeah. It's the same kind of like whenever I have a client that talks about a win that I was a small part of, that makes my day.
Oh yeah.
I don't care how bad of a day that is or whatever. I mean, if I hear that, when I hear that, that totally makes my day.
Oh, just like I was telling you that I got a lead off of Facebook through
That
your marketing
I
help.
was smiling ear to ear the rest of the day,
I
and
was like,
people,
"Heck
why are you
yeah."
so happy? I'm like, it's just I had a little small part in doing something, but that is so. I mean, that's for me. That's why I do this, right?
Yeah, no,
So, yeah,
you've been great at it.
yeah, yeah. So I got some ideas that I'll share. So you met David at April at the April Fool's Day
Oh,
event.
yeah.
You know, the Medicare A to Z.
Hmm.
I'm not going to go to that extreme because with him, I put his big head on little bodies. I got a few ideas for you, but I'm not going to go to that extreme.
Okay, okay. Well, I'm looking forward to those ideas.
The funny thing about it is that I don't tell him what I'm going to do. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
you just
for
surprise
I
them.
just surprise him. Like for you,
Uh-huh.
I did send you my idea for the April Fool's Day. You know,
Hmm.
like every home is going to need a bubble
Yeah,
around it,
a
right?
lot of people like
Just
that
to
one.
run it by you. Didn't want to get on Adelaide's bad side, so I'll run it by you first. But David, I don't do that.
Oh
He
my
has
gosh.
no idea what's coming around the corner.
I'm sure he enjoys that.
He does. He does. He does.
But it does work.
It does. So also on April 1st, our friend Candace and I kind of agreed to do the 5K Spartan run in November.
You're telling me about that.
Yeah,
That's insane.
yeah. I know you work out a little bit, a lot, don't you?
I'll do runs.
Yeah,
I've been
yeah,
doing like a 3 mile run every
yeah,
other day.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So here's what you do. Every half mile, start doing some push-ups and burpees.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then boom, by November, you'll be at the Spartan 5K.
And then I'll apply also.
I already got all my papers kind of lined up of who, you know, where my assets are going to, and who gets this, who gets that, just
How
in
are you
case.
training for it?
Very carefully right now.
Yeah.
Very, very carefully, very methodically. I've never had more emphasis on recovery than I've always played a lot of sports, right? I love sports, you
Yeah.
know. And, you know, unfortunately, the last couple of years is one of the reasons why I'm doing this to get my butt back in gear, right? But I'm paying a lot of attention to recovery.
Okay.
I would listen to this book called The Wim Hof Method. I'm not really recommending it because it's very, very quirky. He's an unusual guy, and I don't want to put my name like, you know, Sean, I listened to it. But the cold shower thing that he does, the cold, you know, recovery,
Yeah.
I've been doing that, and
Has that
it's
been
been
working?
phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the first few days doing it, it's very kind of like, ouch.
Yeah.
But being and as cold as you can get for a couple minutes and just letting your body just kind of like it's been
Just take it. Yeah.
yeah, so I've been doing that a lot of like the massage gun and eating better and all this other
Yeah,
stuff.
it's
So
just it's a
yeah.
lot of things that go into it.
right,
You
yeah,
always think it's just like, no, just gotta
Yeah.
get my butt to work out, but it's just
Yeah.
it's what you eat, your
right,
mindset too.
yeah, but
I had this personal trainer. She offered like a month free, and I was just like, okay, this is awesome.
wow,
Checked it out, and it's just like, yeah, if your mind isn't aligned with your body,
Right.
just things don't
Right.
work out.
right, yeah. So I mean, how much do you think your fitness assists you with what you do? I mean, for me, I know it keeps me way sharper. You know, I could do more and more creative, the whole 9 yards. But with you, I mean, how much would you?
It does. It helps
Yeah.
a lot. Even
Yeah.
on my runs, if I'm not listening to music, I just zone out in my thoughts. Can be good or bad, but
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
most part, like all these
Right.
ideas start flowing.
Yeah,
It's just like, oh, maybe I want to write a book someday. Like it's just like
Yeah.
it goes on and
Yeah.
on. And
Right.
and besides that, the reason I was working out was more because I wanted to feel more energized throughout the
yeah,
day.
me too.
I was feeling so groggy, and I was just like, what am I doing? Like
Right.
I need to start moving more. And
Yeah.
with these runs, it's just been
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
typically, you know, before, because I've done something every day now for like 40 days straight, right? My quote unquote rest day is at least a walk for 20 minutes,
Oh,
right?
nice.
So I'm doing something every single day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I know that before that, around 1 or 2 in the afternoon, I was just hitting a wall,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? Right now, though, I mean, I'm, you know, 3 or 4 o'clock and I'm still like as productive as I was in the morning. So feels good.
How early do you wake up?
About 4:30 or 5.
Oof, yeah.
No alarm. I just, you know, ready to
Naturally.
roll. Yeah, and especially now, that I'm looking forward to getting up, and that's when I do my thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, get up and whether it's a run or just a walk or like tomorrow, I'm 3.5 kilometers north of U of A Stadium, exactly 3.5.
Okay.
Right. So I'll do a walk or a jog, both to the stadium, then on the way back, I've kind of constructed this little obstacle course, doing the stairs at the parking garages and doing push-ups, you know, and then doing sprints on the, you know. So I have to be careful because last week was a lot warmer than I anticipated. So I got to make sure that I kind of hydrate myself and whatever.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I want to eventually build that up to where it's not just 7 kilometers, but do a like an obstacle course around the campus and get that up to about 8.5 kilometers.
Oh yeah.
And so hopefully that prepares me enough for the 5K.
Do they have
Yeah,
like, is it
that's my hope.
pull-ups, push
20,
like?
yeah, there's 20 obstacles over 5K.
Man.
I know. And if you can't do one of the obstacles, you got to do 30 burpees.
Are you working on your burpees?
Not yet. I'm doing the quote unquote deconstructed burpees, or I'll do a jog, then I'll do some squats, then I'll do a jog, then some push ups, then
Okay.
I'll do a jog, then some jumping jacks. So over time, I got 210 days. So over time, I'm going to put it all together.
Dang. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm being very, very methodical.
Yeah.
Very methodical.
You kind of have to so you don't get hurt.
And I'm not worried. Knock on wood, right? And I don't want to limit. Obviously I've tightened up my diet, but I'm not eating. If I'm hungry, I eat. It's just I'm eating better. I'm not eating my
Chips.
McDonald's chips. Yeah. Exactly.
You
So,
can have one here and there.
yeah, and that's another thing. I'm not depriving myself of stuff,
Yeah.
but I'm just kind of watching that. I'm trying not to lose too much weight too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I see that.
because-
Yeah. Well,
'cause-
I don't see that, but I know what you
yeah,
mean.
I know I'm still chunky.
No.
We got a minute. If you have any questions for us, 520-790-2040. If you're thinking about buying a home, thinking about selling a home, 520-790-2040. You have Adley Hunt in the studio today. Realtor. What's the name of the team?
Oh, I'm with Big Realty Solutions.
Yeah. I always forget about that.
Yeah.
I just think that's good branding for you. So we just think about you. Not so much for the team, but for you. Yeah. So we'll be right back in the marketing corner. I am your host. I'm not your co-host. I'm your host, Sean Campbell, who's with co-host today, Adley Hunt. We're back in the marketing corner. I'm your host, Sean Campbell, with co-host today, Adley Hunt. Interest rates and first-time construction homes.
Yes. So for a lot of people that are looking, it just depends on what you value more, older homes that are built really well that, depending on the home, of course.
Yeah.
And then there's your new construction homes that, you're getting a brand new home to yourself. But they are offering a lot of incentives and lower rates as well. So what you would qualify for a $350,000 home, you might qualify for a $390,000 home.
Wow.
With these new construction homes. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions you have or which new construction companies are offering what incentives.
And shifting gears a little bit, when a home owner does have a home, are there particular home improvements that will add value to a home, and are there some that absolutely do not actually take away from the value?
There isn't too much that can take away the value. It's just a matter of the condition of the home, right?
Okay.
So they have it rated from A to D. A being that it doesn't need anything, it's move and ready. D, it's a complete gut, it needs a lot of work. And so when it comes to it, if you're adding, say for example, your home is in great condition, you're just changing the cabinets, that won't add too much value to the home. Although with the luxury price points, I was reading that kind of stuff does affect it.
Wow.
Those finishing touches. But for homes that aren't luxury, if you do those cosmetic updates, it helps the home sell quicker.
Okay.
Because the buyer will come in, they'll see the home, they're like, oh wow, this is move-in ready, I don't have to do anything to it. Versus a D-rated home where it's just like, oh man, I gotta put a new roof, new flooring, and all of those things.
Yeah. Do you like networking?
I do.
Yeah.
I do enjoy it.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite groups that you just look forward to and just that you think you really?
I honestly like the ones that are the random small ones that people end up doing. These bigger ones are really great too.
Like the one we coasted, that was a big one.
That's the one I was thinking about.
Yeah, you didn't like the one we did because it was too big.
No, I did like those. I meant smaller, not as in like small group. I meant like, just
Yeah.
random people like, hey, I'm
Right.
gonna get
Right.
together with this person
Right.
and do one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one on April 1st we did with Max from Login.
Hmm.
I really liked it because I'm not saying I'm everything in a bag of chips, but I did not know a lot of people that showed up.
Yeah.
It was great.
I liked it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what was enjoyable about
Yeah.
it. It's just like meeting new faces,
Hmm.
introducing yourself.
Yeah.
Do you have a specific strategy when you do that?
When I'm a part of something that we host, I
Mhm.
always want to, my intention is really to connect people.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I want everybody that shows up to make a good connection with somebody else.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to play matchmaker a little bit.
Yeah.
But if I'm somewhere where I'm not doing that, I really want to meet people and do 20% of the talking.
Hmm.
Honestly, that's kind of my thing.
Okay.
And then if there's somebody that I think that there could be some type of connection where maybe we'll work together, maybe not, or maybe just somebody that I'm just fascinated by their story,
Hmm.
then I really want to, make sure I put in the calendar before I leave, like a cup of coffee with them, just to
Yeah.
kind of get out of that environment. Because I know they're there to meet people too,
Hmm.
so I want to be considerate of their time. But if I could set up a cup of coffee with them,
Hmm.
and just kind of get to know them a little bit more, that's kind of my
That's
goal.
pretty good.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some people that they want a certain amount of business cards, a certain amount of this,
Hmm.
that, and I think it becomes a little bit too of a
You're just like hopping around, just
right.
like real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. Yeah. I've literally seen that where people just throwing cards and collecting cards, and
Yeah.
they call you the next day, and I'm like, who's this?
Usually the conversations I have, I don't know, they're pretty,
Mhm.
they don't go quickly. It's just like,
Mhm.
because if
Right.
it's someone that you're first meeting for the first time,
Yeah.
you have all these questions, right?
Right.
Like, oh, cool. Like,
Yeah.
what do you do? Awesome. Like, it just
Right.
goes on and on.
Yeah. Especially meeting somebody that I've never met in a particular industry.
Yeah.
To me, that's fascinating.
Mhm.
Just to get to know why they're doing that, how they come up with the idea. That's really cool. Those are the people that I want to hang out with and get to know, and just like what makes them click.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How did you come up with this idea?
I don't,
You know?
it was at our networking. One of the gentlemen there was telling me there was a lady around there. I didn't get to meet her, but
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
she cremates pets and they use something from the pets to fertilize plants.
Really?
It was interesting,
Oh.
and I had never heard of that. So,
Wow. It, I could see pet owners appreciating that, I guess,
Yeah.
because the pet would grow through the plant. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know either,
I
but
don't know.
it was interesting. You mentioned interesting, so that was interesting.
Exactly. Exactly. Do you like the Sands?
I
Is that
do.
kind of one of your go-tos? I think you
Um,
and I met there actually. At
Yeah,
the Sands,
I
yeah.
got to meet a lot of people through
Yeah.
the Sands Club,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
been. I thought it was worth it. It was
Yeah.
nice. It's been. I like the food there too.
I know the food. Chef Danny always has something up his sleeve.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's always something good there.
and I like having the option of being able to use it as an office too.
Right,
Like I'll be able to
right.
take clients out there, and I'm like, hey, check this place
Mhm.
out. I'll
Yeah.
get you some awesome food and
Right.
great views from
Right.
here too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just being in that environment, being with other people that are like-minded, and that energy that's in there,
Mhm.
I think you make a very, very good point. It's a place to take clients,
Mhm.
especially if they've never been there.
Yeah.
It blows them away.
Yeah.
It blows them away.
The only thing I did wish was the parking was a little bit easier. Right?
Yeah, yeah,
Sometimes
yeah.
it's like all over
Yeah.
the place.
And yeah, and if you're a member and you have your kids parked there during the day, stop doing that.
Stop. Just
Don't
stop.
just get the membership so your kid has somewhere to park during while he's going to class. Come on, guys.
He called them out.
Calling them out.
Call
Calling them out. I'm gonna get a tomato upside my head the next time I'm at the Sam's
Maybe,
Club. Yeah,
maybe.
Or my car's no. But my I'm not gonna mention it. How long you been a member there though? Been a few years.
3 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
been 3 years.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Do you go to Stacy's event sometimes?
I've only been to it maybe twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people go to that. For me, I'm not criticizing it at all. For me, it's just a little bit too big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For a lot of people, it's tremendous, and they
Mhm.
make a lot of connections. But for me, it's a little bit too big.
Yeah.
I would rather
I got
do
a little
something-
lost there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, you kind of get drowned out. And I don't think, I think you and I have very similar personalities, is
Hmm.
that we don't try to take over stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, yeah. Not to mention any names at all.
No.
Off air, we will. Off air, we're going to talk all about them. So, where do you see yourself in 3 years, 5 years?
3 years. Let's see. There's a lot of things that I've been wanting to do, like in my personal life.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'm at an age where I'm really focusing on wanting to settle down with someone, have
Mm-hmm.
children,
Mm-hmm.
that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's been on my mind. But hopefully, within the next 3 years, something happens,
Yeah.
and then mostly focusing on my career
Yeah.
and traveling whenever I get a chance.
Where are you
So.
going to travel next?
I kind of want to go back to,
Europe?
yeah.
Germany? Yeah.
I was looking at
I
how to
told you.
do like this whole trip from like Amsterdam, make my way down,
Yeah.
and then just
Yeah.
do a whole trip
Yeah.
through that.
And you already been to Italy. Spain and Portugal need to go on your list.
Yes, those are on my
Yeah.
list, and
Yeah.
Japan is like one of my big ones too.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a big one for a lot of people, but
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm wearing a Shohei shirt, as we're talking about Japan. I'm Shohei Otani. He's the best baseball player in the world, and he's from Japan.
oh, that's pretty
Plays
cool.
for my team. Yeah. So I lived 4 years in the Philippines as a kid.
Did you?
Yeah.
Man, you
Yeah.
were all over the
I
place.
was. I was. That's
so you're
why
very cultured then.
I wouldn't go that
Oh,
far.
okay.
Yeah, man. That's why I kind of think I'm okay at what I do, because it's easy for me just to meet people.
Yeah.
I like meeting people.
Hmm.
Especially when they're a lot different from me, and just to me that's natural.
Yeah, you're really good at it, and
I
you
hope
can
so.
connect with a lot of
I
people
try
easily.
to.
Yeah.
I try to.
It's just like
so-
someone brings up a topic and you already know something about that. It's just like,
or I'm just curious about it.
yeah, that too.
You know what I mean?
ask all the right questions.
I try. So
Yeah.
I think, as long as we stay curious about not ourselves, but about other people that we care about,
Hmm.
and, continue to learn something every day.
Hmm.
Once I wake up and I don't want to learn something new every day, then I know it's time to get out of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the center of everything, that what I do as
Mhm.
an entrepreneur. So you are listening to the Marketing Corner. I'll be your co-host.
And I'm your
Oh.
host, Adelie Hunt.
Welcome back to the Marketing Corner. I am your host of the show, not the co-host today, Sean Campbell. And as always, we always want to start the last segment by thanking John, our engineer, for keeping us in line today. All the sponsors, including Adelie Hunt, the Spark Project Collective, Robert Callison from eForce Marketing, Mo Russo, who that was supposed to be here last week, but he didn't show up. Executive business coach Juan J.D. Delgado from Roofs Are Hot, Danny McPadden from Last Bridge Media, our friend Candace Eaton from C. Eaton Photography, David Bradley, of course, Medicare A to Z, and our buddy who's down the street, Bill Netherton, Professional Bartenders Unlimited. That's a cool little motley crew
Hmm.
of sponsors there. Yeah,
Really?
I think so.
Huh.
They're all very unique. I think you've met most of them, right?
Yeah, I
You-
have
you know,
actually.
JD.
No,
don't
I
think you-
actually met all of them.
Yeah,
Yeah, during the networking event we did.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think they were all there.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna do like a class photo.
That'd be fun. Oh, well, we have that event in May, right?
Which one?
Um,
Oh yeah, we have our little mastermind.
yeah, the mastermind.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one of the little perks about being a sponsor is
Mhm.
every quarter. We're thinking about doing it every month, but I don't know if you guys would have time for that every month.
Mhm.
Mo is our facilitator,
Yeah.
and that's one of the little things that I offer the sponsors of the show. I don't want no more sponsors of the show, by the way, but little mastermind, get together, just talk about our business. And
Uh-huh.
have you ever done anything
No.
like that?
Mm-mm.
No. What is talked about in the mastermind obviously stays in there, because you do have to be a little bit vulnerable, right? You do have to say, well, this is kind of my issue. This is where I'm, not doing very well. And then everybody kind of contributes their ideas.
Oh, I like that.
And Mo kind of facilitates that.
Okay.
He's been an executive business coach for a few decades.
Oh my gosh.
So he's very, very good at that.
Hmm.
But yeah, there is a little bit of, vulnerability, and kind of like we need to trust each other. And like, so we leave, it's like, I can't believe Adelie's that bad of a realtor.
Hey.
You know what I mean? So which is not true. She's a tremendous realtor. But
Gonna have a burn book now.
but yeah, I like them because everybody's always kind of, enthusiastic and motivated by it. The only feedback I've got is they like it, but they want to do it every month. But it's hard to get all your guys' schedules coordinated to where we can do that every month. Even this one had to be pushed back a week.
I recall
unfortunately.
that.
Yeah.
How many hours is it? Is it like a 2-hour thing?
It's an hour and a half.
Hour and a half?
But typically it does go about 2 hours, though.
Yeah.
And it's not because it drags on, just because people kind of hang out and linger and want to just talk more about the stuff that we talked about.
I like that. That's super interesting because it just you're so wrapped up in your own mindset, right?
Right.
And just like having
Yeah.
that outside perspective
Yeah.
from someone telling
Right.
you like, well, what about this, or why
Right.
don't you try that? Yeah.
And it doesn't, for me, it doesn't matter what the different industries, because we're all in kind of different parts in our career. Like I know there's a lot I can learn from you, because you and I work essentially kind of on our own. You are with the team, but you're very much branding yourself. And
Well, in a sense,
you know what I mean?
I am on my own.
Yeah,
The
right.
brokerage is just where I hang my license.
Right.
So it's just
Right.
like even though we do have meetings once a week or actually once a month,
Yeah.
they do discuss a lot of things, but it's just like sometimes that you're working on your own brand, you're
Right.
working on your own marketing materials,
Right.
and it's just like that's where you come in, where it's just like you're helping me so much when it comes to social media, because that's really time consuming for me, because it's like learning everything about it, and
Right.
you already know about it, so
Yeah.
it's like
but I like our collaboration, because we actually have, even though most of the time it's by email or text, there is a discussion about it. And that's what I appreciate about you as a client, is that I'm not afraid of kind of giving you an idea, and I'm not afraid of you saying no.
Yeah.
Because if you say no, then it just teaches me more about who you are as a client and your brand and everything,
yeah, that's
So, and you don't
understandable.
call me bad names.
Not to your face.
Not to my face.
Just kidding.
But that's one of the things, like in any type of B2B type of relationship, then I think that's very, very important. And I'll admit on the air, there was a client just recently that I was kind of helping out, and I misunderstood their lack of responsiveness, to be honest. And I was like, hey, you know what? Maybe this isn't the right fit,
Oh, no.
because, this is the list of things I need to onboard you, and it's been like almost 2 months. How about we just kind of, I refunded them their month. And I'm like, I'm not a good fit for you. There's something that I'm sensing that you're not completely, 'cause
Yeah.
from my point of view, there was excuses of why they didn't do it.
Oh, I see.
But I got her email back, and it wasn't very nice. It was professional, but he thought that, I may have dropped the ball. And I totally understood his point of view, but that communication should have been happening from the beginning.
Yeah.
I was assuming too much. I probably misstepped. I probably should still have him as a client, but I should have been more persistent with him, because they were just too busy all the time to where they didn't get to my stuff.
Oh, that makes sense.
It makes sense
Yeah,
now.
but it's just one of those things that you have to experience to kind of learn about it, right?
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
just like now you'll
Yeah.
see kind of maybe the same patterns down the
Right,
road, and you'll be
right.
like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I remember how to handle this.
Right. And see, with you, communication is probably 90% of what you need to do, to keep your clients informed of what's going on.
Oh, definitely.
You know?
Yeah, and I love that too. Like a lot of the posts that you've helped me out with is just like providing information or
Yeah.
something a little bit about me, or you
Yeah.
know, it just
Yeah.
it's the perfect balance.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Cool. So I could hang out for another month as your social media guy.
Yeah, you made the cut.
Yes. I made the cut. Did you play any sports? You mentioned
in
yeah.
high school,
Yeah.
all I did was basketball and track.
That's all you did, just
Ye-
basketball, track.
That's it. In track, I was a sprinter. I did the 100 and 200.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Because you had the quiet competitiveness about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very competitive in the best way. But it's not so much like, I got to be better than so and so. It's just like sometimes a little bit for myself. I'm like, okay, this person's doing better than me,
Yeah.
but like I'd like to,
Right.
you know, be,
Yeah.
be a better me, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's no wrong answer, but I'll admit there's people out there that, motivate me. They're not necessarily in my industry, but I do kind of compete. They don't know I'm competing against them. Do you have those type of people, like in the back of your mind? It's like,
Yeah, there's a couple, yeah. And it also depends. Like everything's a little bit different, right? So if
Right,
it's in my
right,
industry, yeah, like
right,
I'm like, "Oh, I want to get to where that person is because
right.
she's well known and like,
Mm-hmm.
she's working with the luxury homes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that'd be really cool. Like that'd be
Right.
a great goal of mine to be known for that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then you have maybe something else like,
Mm.
as a runner now, right? Like,
Right.
oh, I
Right.
want to try and beat this person's time. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
several people for each thing.
Yeah. So you've always kind of had that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Me
Yeah.
too. Me too. I'll admit though, and this is kind of weird to admit, but I played baseball. I was way better in baseball than any other sport.
Hmm.
But I would always kind of pick somebody out that was watching a game and be like, I gotta impress her.
Oh,
You
okay.
know,
That's a
but
good
there
one.
was actually an Olympic skater who did that too. She would pick somebody out and said, I gotta impress that dude.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So especially as
It's on
I
a
mean,
whole different level
it
because you
is
don't know what
'cause-
they're expecting. Like,
and I don't want to embarrass myself, right? You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's totally somebody that I would not know, but it's like, it kind of kept me laser focused.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
That's understandable.
yeah, yeah.
And
So
I don't know, is it a bad thing to be competitive or is it?
and that's one of the. I wish we had another segment to talk all about that.
Yeah.
It's almost bad that not you, but people put down that, oh, you're working so for more than 40 hours a week, you shouldn't do that.
Hmm.
Oh, you're competitive. Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. There's a lot of LinkedIn people that I follow that are tremendous with their content.
Hmm.
There's one person in particular. My employees only have to work 20 hours a week. I let them work from home. I don't keep tabs on them. I don't. I'm like, your employees aren't working for you, and you're paying,
Yeah.
too much for them.
Hmm.
What's wrong with having like the quote unquote like old school work ethic?
Yeah.
You know?
I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah, yeah. So I know when you mention you work, so do I. I work every day,
Hmm.
but I love working every day.
And honestly, I guess it just comes down to what your goals are, right?
Right.
And how much effort, how bad you want it, basically. Because if it's just something minor and you're like, it's whatever, I'll get to it
Yeah.
whenever
yeah.
I want. But it's like
Yeah.
if you have these set goals and you're just like, man, I'm really trying to reach this amount of selling these homes, right?
Right,
For
right.
me, for example.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, I gotta work my butt off to
Right.
get to that number.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
just like, you just put in as much as you
Yeah.
want
When
to
you
put
get
in.
to that number, will you remember that you were on the show?
What was that?
Were you going to remember the little people like me after you reach that
I don't know.
status?
I'm gonna be like, what was that
I
guy's
don't
name?
know. I'm on a national syndicated show, and I remember that one show. Can we delete all those files?
Oh no.
Adelaide, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it. Looking forward to the next time.
Yeah,
Looking
likewise.
forward to the next time. So, everybody out there, thank you so much for tuning in on the Marketing Corner. Really appreciate you and get a lot of tremendous feedback. Be sure to subscribe and watch this show on YouTube, the Marketing Corner with Sean Campbell, and on Spotify if you want to listen to it in audio while you're taking your morning jog or walking your dog,
There you go.
or you're planting the plant with your pet's ashes. Have a great weekend.
Children helping children, going above and beyond to raise peer awareness and encourage local community support on behalf of Toys for Tots. To learn more about how you can help, visit toysfortots.org and help bring hope to a child's future.
We all owe them, but very few of us know them. They are the men and women of our military and first responder communities. And these are their stories. American Warrior Radio is on the air.
Welcome to American Warrior Radio, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Ben Bueller Garcia. American Warrior Radio broadcasts from the Silencer Central Studios. They're the nation's largest suppressor dealer. They're ready to make your silencer buying journey as simple and pain-free as possible. Call them today at 866-640-3270 to get the process started, or visit silencercentral.com. Be sure to check silencercentral.com first to confirm if owning a silencer is legal in your state. As you know, if you've been listening for a while, one of the missions of American Warrior Radio are to tell the stories of those who protect us at home and abroad. Today, we're going to focus on one of those at-home defenders. New York is the largest city in the U.S. with a population of 8,335,897. They also have one of the oldest and the largest municipal police force in the country. with 33,580 officers and 19,000 civilians working 24/7 to protect the citizens of the Big Apple. Our guest today began his career at NYPD in 1983 when crime may have been at the all-time high. He would carry a badge for 35 years, retiring as the chief of detectives where he oversaw 5,800 uniform and civilian members. He now works as a law enforcement security consultant, and he's also the host of New York Homicide, which airs Saturday nights on Oxygen True Crime Channel. Welcome to American Warrior Radio, Robert Boyce.
Thanks for having me, Ben.
Well, Bob, it's a real pleasure. As I mentioned to you off the air, I was a criminal justice major, but I never took the oath or decided to wear the badge. Let's start off with talking a little bit about New York Homicide. My wife and I love these kinds of programs.